Turn on emergency power. Command you to turn on emergency power. Well, it's come to this, hasn't it? If you want an explanation as to why everything's in shutdown mode. Ever since I did Alien 3, we got reports of an extraterrestrial being in this very room. They described it as a Xenomorph. Apparently, I really wasn't supposed to talk about Alien 3. We only have one movie left. If the computer actually let me get to it. Okay. Computer, command you to turn on emergency power. Not compatible? You've got to be kidding me. Emergency request override. Should be up in a jiffy. Let's hope. Oh, God. Ever since I did Alien 3, the whole place has been in lockdown mode. I guess I really wasn't supposed to talk about Alien 3. Okay. Let's talk about Alien Resurrection. The final film in this juggernaut of a series. Well, actually, it's not that much of a juggernaut. It's... okay. So, let's get to it. From what I heard about this movie, it's either better or worse. It's been 200 years since the ending of Alien 3. The medical vessel Aruga are able to make a clone of Ripley. They were also able to make a clone of not only Ripley, but also the alien that was inside of her. Somehow, they were able to take DNA samples from Fury 161, despite the fact that, well, she expired, if you recall. This was the 7th experiment and the only success they ever had. Apparently, she does have some memories of the past events, but only some. The reason why she has some memories is because her memories have been passed on from the alien. So, I guess the alien has memory abilities now. Okay, movie, you're gonna have to explain this a little further because I'm a little confused. Apparently she has biochemical imbalances because of a genetic crossing. She is able to have feelings too, technical jargons. But wait! There's more! Apparently, they were able to capture a queen alien. I don't know if it's the same one from Aliens, but who knows. Considering that the last time the queen alien was sucked out into the vastness of space, this is probably a different queen entirely. They want to teach the Xenomorphs to respond to their commands. They want the aliens to breed, and they want them to form their own alien clan. They say that they want to study them, but that's not their real intention. And of course, we know that. The way they are able to do this is by imprisoning 3 fully grown aliens and taking random people and using them as test dummies to host more facehuggers so they can inbreed more Xenomorphs. In other words, she was cloned by evil scientists. It suggested that they want to study them on Earth and that they may want to unleash the aliens on Earth, but as far as I know, they didn't go that route. Ripley is an entirely different character here. What's interesting is that she is part alien. Some of the alien DNA is inside of her. She has acid blood, is twice as strong, and is able to connect with other Xenomorphs. Well, kind of. However, this results in her acting almost robotic. Sometimes she can be self-aware of herself. I don't mind this, but this is still a far cry from who she was in the first 2 films. But I am able to let this go because she is in fact a clone. This is not the real Ripley, so okay, we'll let that go. As for the other characters, here we have the crew of the Betty, who are a group of mercenaries who give supplies to the Aruga. In actuality, they are just supporting the evil scientist's experiments, but they don't know that until much later. Not only that, but the scientists have been harboring 12 aliens. One of them is the Queen, the others are either facehuggers or fully grown Xenomorphs. At a certain point in the film, the 3 imprisoned aliens attack one another. One of them dies, leaving their acid blood to drip through the shafts. During the chaos of the aliens' rampage, killing the soldiers of the Aruga, 2 of them were killed and several others are let loose. The Aruga goes through a standard operating procedure where if there's an emergency situation, the ship will go into automatic pilot mode toward its home base, which their home base resides on Earth. And remember, if the Xenomorphs and the Queen are not exterminated before they reach Earth, Earth will be screwed. Okay, first off, I don't mind the plot too much. Yes, it's flawed and completely ludicrous, but I like the idea of the scientists finding a way to clone Ripley and trying to find a way to harbor a way to breed more Xenomorphs so they can start their own alien race. It's complicated, sure, but I don't mind the idea. In fact, I think it's a better plot, or at least a more thorough plot than the one in Alien 3. However, it's just not executed that well. All we have here are concepts and ideas. They're not really fleshed out enough. But I will say that at the very least, you're not sitting there bored out of your mind waiting for something to happen. Being, shown this bleak imagery, there's at the very least something here. There's at the very least a little bit of substance. They do explain how they were able to clone her using DNA found on Fury 161, despite the fact that at the end of the last movie, she died. This is one of those movies where you have to watch the last one in order to even get a grasp of what's going on in this movie. For some reason, when they clone her, they also cloned the Xenomorph embryo that was inside of her too. They were able to remove it, and that's how she has alien abilities and stuff, but that does not explain exactly what types of DNA were used to clone her and the Xenomorph that was inside of her. The movie also addresses the fact that she has the ability to telekinetically communicate with other Xenomorphs, which is why in a bunch of scenes she acts unstable. When she is finally brought to life, it's very weird how they did it. There's all these weird edits, a lot of fade outs and fade ins. I don't know if this is the director's style or it was done for time reasons, but this happens at least twice. I just don't get it. As for the other characters, I have good news for you. Unlike the bleak, depressing, and mean-spirited characters of Alien 3, I can recognize who the other characters are. I can tell them apart, who they are, what they like and dislike, and they are not cookie-cutter repeats of one another, so kudos to you, Alien Resurrection. Here we have Johnner, played by Hellboy himself, Ron Perlman, who acts like the Punisher. We have a guy who is paralyzed from the waist down, who is made fun of. Christy, a gunslinger who never misses a shot. And Call, played by Winona Ryder, an android who is the only one who seems interested in who Ripley is. She is the only one outside of Ripley who knows what is really going on and what the scientists are really up to. She was ordered to access the data frame inside the ship to locate the Xenomorph, and Ripley and her mercenaries were planning to kill the alien tribes anyway. I don't mind her in this, yet it seems like one minute she can give a good performance, and the next minute she can act all whiny and stuff. At least she manages to live throughout the movie, unlike the android in the first film. The other mercenaries are fine. All of them are different from one another, so you're able to tell each one apart. But I just see the rest of them as clones of some of the Marines from Aliens. And no, I'm not referring to the good ones. I'm referring to the ones in the background who you could never remember their names. So overall, good job. The cast is more distinguished than in Alien 3. Does that mean they are great characters? No, it just means that they are more identifiable than the ones in Alien 3. These characters are pretty shallow in many places. They really only have one defining character trait, and that's it. I liked a few of them, but I wish they were more three-dimensional. As for the scientists, they're okay. You have Brad Dourif as the scientist who messes around with the aliens. It's bizarre, to say the least. I know he's messing with them, but it's a little unnecessary. And yes, he was the one who had the idea of cloning Ripley and the Xenomorphs. Despite being a slight improvement over the third film, and even though it's more enjoyable than the third film, there are still stupid stuff in this movie. For example,
don't ever touch me.
Okay, wait, hold on, let me get this straight. You have a guy pointing a gun at you, you were able to successfully snatch it out of a man's hands, and then you hand it back to him. Why?
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Another example follows a scene where they pick up a guy who has a chestburster inside of him. They decide to bring him along despite the fact that they know otherwise. And guess what happens? Okay, I don't know if this movie was trying to be over the top on purpose, or since nobody would want to watch an Alien 5, we're just gonna go all out. I don't know if they were trying to, have a runtime out, because this is a 2-hour movie, and we want to keep a 2-hour time frame, so we're just adding this sequence in as filler. I'm not entirely sure why they put this whole subplot in, but it's hilariously dumb. Later in the movie, we find out that the Queen has been harboring the Xenomorph for a long time now, and she gave birth to a Xenophane, who looks like an enlarged version of the It's Alive baby. It's a mutated alien clone, and this is the new alien. Honestly, I can't say that that's a good design. In some shots, it looks terrifying, and in other shots, it looks silly. Yes, I know this Xenophane, or whatever you call it, has human traits, which is fine, but does it have to look like this? Okay, guys, let me make something clear, okay? I love the fact that you're doing practical effects here, which is great. I love practical effects, but does it really have to look like this? You couldn't have chosen a better design for this Xeno baby? Why is it killing its own mother? Why is it so interested in Ripley? What is happening here? In terms of the design of the aliens, they're actually a little different. The chin is more pointed out, and the head is more profound. They are faster, and you see them communicating with each other as opposed to the other movies. Oh, and there's also CG in this movie, which looked pretty good for 1997. Not as good as Jurassic Park, but hey, you know what? It's fine. Some of the scenes in this movie are actually pretty decent. There's one scene where Ripley goes into the laboratory, and we see the past experiments that have gone wrong. We see the confusion in Ripley's eyes, and the dread in her heart. It's a pivotal scene that ends with her destroying the laboratory, and it's a scene that really gets to you. Another scene that's decent is where, after an underwater sequence in which one of the rooms have been completely flooded, they come across more chestbursters, and they are essentially trapped in this room. Although there are stupid moments like Ripley gets a facehugger on her head and then yanks it off in the water, which that's not how chestbursters work, and Christie missing a Xenomorph that's literally right in front of him, it's still an intense and exhilarating sequence. The movie flows like a contemporary horror movie. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing depends on you. The scenes that are supposed to be intense and nerve-wracking are done mostly okay. Not as good as the first two, but better than the third. Again, your opinion on the horror elements in Alien Resurrection will vary. There's also a little bit of comedy thrown in here too. Again, your response will vary. Early in the film, Ripley is seen playing basketball and makes a shot while not even facing the net. Trivia: that was not a CG effect. She really did that on set.
The hell are you?
And plus, who doesn't want to see Hellboy fighting Xenomorphs? I would. There you have it, folks. The second most opinionated film in the Alien franchise. Alien Resurrection. That's all I have to say on this one. I'll be honest, I had more fun with this one than Alien 3, because, you see, Alien 3 was such a disaster in terms of writing, making the movie, and the final product, that it borders on the line between watchable and unwatchable. Alien Resurrection is watchable, and you can kind of enjoy it for its silliness and over-the-top campy thrills or whatever. But to me, I find myself just kind of in this weird position where, is this a good movie? No. It's just better than Alien 3. Are there stupid stuff in this movie? Yes, there is stupid stuff in this movie. The way the aliens act, that whole subplot with the guy with a chest burster on the ship, and there are all these other soldiers who, they run out and it's like they get themselves killed because they don't want to deal with it. Yeah, there's stupid stuff in this movie. The guy who directed this was a French director by the name of Jean-Pierre Jeunet, who you may know him for directing Amelie. Alien Resurrection was his only American production. Yes, Alien Resurrection was his only American film. Then after that, he went on to direct Amelie and several other movies. He didn't direct very many films in his career. It's really weird because Alien Resurrection isn't even a bad movie. It's not great, but you know what? Hey, I prefer something silly over mean-spirited any day. Now, there are people who will say that Alien Resurrection is the worst out of them, which is fair. It's not that great a film, but it's not that horrible either. It's not like it's so bleak and dark that you can't even really enjoy it. It's not one of those movies. Considering that nobody really had faith in this movie in the first place, it's amazing that it even got the response it did at all. I mean, Alien 3 was so bleak and lifeless that the Alien series needed some life again. But what we got is a movie that had kind of a mixed reaction. You know, some people say it's the worst, others say that it's not that bad. For me personally, I found it to be an improvement over Alien 3. That's not to say that it's great, because when you compare it to the first two movies, the last two movies are pretty much eh. It's not so much the fact that Alien Resurrection doesn't have a reason to exist. It's the fact that nobody wanted to accept how Alien 3 ended. But when Alien Resurrection came around, it was like, okay, I'm in. What do you got? It's basically a cut and dry sci-fi horror movie. You have a clone of Ripley, evil scientists harboring aliens, to using humans as guinea pigs to harbor more aliens and create their own alien race. Remember what I said in my Alien 3 review, but I said Alien 3 should have been about a king alien wanting to enslave Earth, and he does this by unleashing a horde of xenomorphs on Earth. I was half right! The last two Alien movies, at the very least, have a little bit of an audience, unlike the Alpha and Omega movies or the Transporter films. So overall, it's an okay movie. What the? Oh, great. The emergency power just shut off. And why is it so cold in here all of a sudden? There. Much better. Now, computer, I said turn the power. How'd you get in here? Alright. One last time. Well, it's a good thing this floor is acid-proof. This alarm is hurting my ears. Turn on emergency light source. Thank you, that alarm was getting annoying. There is no denying the impact that Alien had on sci-fi. Coming off the heels of Star Wars and Alien changed the face of sci-fi for the better. And of course, we have an interesting franchise. The first two were fantastic films, made by the right people at the right time. And the last two were debatable. Some say Alien 3 is the worst, others say Alien Resurrection is the worst. Regardless of what your opinions are on the last two films, there's no denying that this xeno creature from outer space will always be around. It existed far past movies. Movies, video games, comic books, a crossover Predator, which I'm not going to talk about those because they're not canon, and two prequel movies, which I'm not going to talk about those either because I hadn't seen Prometheus in a long time and I don't remember the plot. I also don't remember if it even connected with Alien at all. And Alien Covenant, I already reviewed on this channel before. That is it, folks. We're done with the whole Alien quadrilogy. Thank you all so much for joining me, and if you excuse me, I just got handed an offer I can't refuse.